Fortnite is getting hate. From one of the most controversial collabs of all time to banning something fans love, here are 23 updates getting roasted. We're meant to be in the future of Fortnite, and yet one of the biggest changes is massively disappointing players. Everyone remembers where they were when Travis Scott took us for a ride through space or Marshmello took the stage at Pleasant Park. And now concerts have been entirely replaced by UEFN experiences. When huge artists get their own collabs like Metallica, Billie Eilish, or The Weeknd, we expect a massive concert. Instead, it's not even a live event, and fans wish we would go back to the way it was. In fact, the first three artists didn't even get a UEFN concert. Bringing them back to the island would solve this. Now this week we got a collab that literally no one expected. The summer road trip quests were released, and there were a few decent rewards until you get to the end and see a Tesla Cybertruck. Yeah, the most controversial car on the road is now in Fortnite, and let's just say many fans aren't happy about it. Whether it's because they dislike Elon Musk or they think the truck looks like a toaster, the backlash is insane. Kind of funny when you realize this thing is free. Some people are saying Epic knew we wouldn't spend $20 on this. And it's also fair to say Chapter 5's experiment was a total failure. I'm talking about the train, a vehicle we wanted for years, and when it finally arrived, no one used it. So it's easy to figure out why Epic straight up deleted it this season, but it's left players sad about what they missed out on. Instead of removing it, they could have just made some improvements. The leaked concept art showed wrecked with a Mad Max style train. I mean, it looked awesome. That's until we logged in and noticed it had crashed in the desert instead, becoming another one of Epic's forgotten features. Now, if you're gonna feel embarrassed driving a Cybertruck, imagine how humiliating it would have been to get Boogie Bombed out of it. They unvaulted these last month to combat the amount of vehicles in Fortnite when fans were asking for a different solution entirely. They wanted EMPs in the game so they could disable the cars. Instead, Fortnite handed them a disastrous update. Boogies had also been changed so you wouldn't instantly stop dancing if you took damage. You would just eat bullets and stay vulnerable, making it one of the most hated updates of the season. Now let's be honest, most of us have been playing Fortnite for a long time, but not once did anyone ask for emotes to be censored. One of the main parts of the game was getting wiped out by a sweat as they took the L. Sure, you might smash a controller or two, but no one was calling for the emotes to be removed. That's until a random update when out of nowhere, Fortnite decided to automatically hide these dances unless you enabled them in the settings. Usually wouldn't be a problem, but the fact that any new players will have this on by default is crazy. Some of them might never realize that donkey laugh exists. Now personally, I'm excited for this next edition, but a lot of fans are complaining about it as the next festival artist has been leaked. We're getting Karol G in a couple of weeks as she joins the Icon series, and while she has a huge audience, the news hasn't resonated with Fortnite's English-speaking fans. The announcement was met with a lot of fans asking who Karol G even was, and I can see why they're disappointed, especially when huge artists like Dua Lipa, Post Malone, and Taylor Swift are still missing from the game. On the other hand, I understand why Fortnite is adding Karol, as they try to introduce their fans to new types of music. It's also why December's artist is coming to the game, as new jeans make their way to festival. Sure, they're a K-pop group, but who knows, you might enjoy the songs when they release. The updates that are the biggest punch in the gut are when Fortnite removes a beloved tradition for no reason. Just like concerts, Winterfest has been downgraded to a fraction of what it used to be. It's known for giving us an insane cabin in the lobby with plenty of gifts to open, and has always been adored by the players. Yet the most recent Winterfest was turned into a quest menu. You just had to click a button every day for a gift, and for fans, it kind of felt like the magic was ruined. Epic even secretly changed the way the battle pass works. This whole time, we've been able to pay 950 V-Bucks and get more back than what we spent. However, for Chapter 5, they made it harder to earn those V-Bucks than ever before. Previously, you'd be able to complete the pass and get them all, but now you need to keep going beyond tier 100. They've been placed in the bonus rewards section, forcing us to put more hours in for the same amount. In fact, doing the math, the average level to get them now is 130, with 33% of V-Bucks being after level 100. I mean, nobody asked for this. And it's not just the battle pass that suffered, even an entire season could fall victim to a collab. Fortnite went all out with the Greek mythology theme, throwing a ton of unique items at us, which fans loved. The only problem? The arrival of a huge crossover. Avatar took over the game for an entire month, giving us ridiculously OP mythics like water and airbending. In return, they vaulted every single god power. Yeah, they abandoned their own season theme for a crossover, leaving some players furious. Not to mention, Avatar also appeared in the Battle Pass. This whole thing was designed around Greek gods, and then you just had Korra. It felt shoehorned in, especially when other gods kept getting added to the crew pack and the item shop. Fortnite has previously been good with keeping the secret outfits on theme, like Indiana Jones or Solid Snake, while Korra was just there. still doesn't top the strangest choice in all of Fortnite. We logged in this year to find every single rarity deleted from the game. Now there was no way to tell which items you paid a premium for versus the cheap default skins. Not to mention, it was one of the best ways to sort the hundreds of items in your locker. People loved this feature and grew attached to it very quickly. So for Epic to just delete it overnight, it was a tough pill to swallow. One of the biggest sacrifices Epic has ever made was killing off their crown jewel, live events. These would be the days that Fortnite brought millions of players back to the game. It was a time where the community could come together and be excited about something. That's until they made the decision to release yearly chapters. Now Epic is so busy working on the next map, they don't have time to keep dropping huge live events, giving us less storyline, only 4 seasons per map, and causing hype to be at an all-time low. On the bright side, they have tried to make up for it with mini events. These have started to come back in Chapter 5, allowing us to experience a taste of the magic we used to get. But if you want the full experience again, you'll have to wait until December every year. Not the only feature that keeps getting harder to find. At the start of Chapter 5, we were introduced to medallions, and there were tons in the map, each with unique abilities. Then in Season 2, they lowered the amount to 4 medallions, and they got nerfed pretty hard. Alright, pretty interesting until we hit Season 3, and suddenly only 3 medallions are on the map, and they're nothing compared to the ones we used to have. Safe to say, Epic is already starting to move away from this idea. Now let's rewind to the Greek season again, because let me tell you, for such a great season, they made a lot of updates nobody asked for. While we were enjoying unique items like Zeus's lightning bolt or the chains of Hades, players are looking forward to see what kind of mythics Ares or Cerberus would get. That's what we got, an assault rifle. They gave the guy who rides a chariot and uses spears a regular old gun. Cerberus wasn't any better. You'd expect some kind of claws or a fun way to incorporate his 3 heads, but no, he just got a shoddy. Fortnite loves deleting things, but sometimes they're forced to. Players are used to the item shop timer that we've had for 5 years before Epic disabled it overnight with no explanation. You would just have a message that said it usually resets at that same time, but that was it. We were left in the dark for 5 months before they dropped an updated version, which is just a date written in the fine print. Only problem, we still don't know when the shop itself refreshes, especially when half of it stays the same every night. Now the reason behind this change was to comply with laws, and while it's made it easier to figure out when a specific item is leaving, players are still annoyed over the reset timer. And I'm pretty sure no one in the community asked for junior items. There's a pattern secretly happening in Fortnite as they turn old items into mini versions, kind of like the crash pads. It started with these as they turn smaller and less useful. You can't even place them in a box and destroy the walls anymore. No one really understood why this had to be a thing, but it wasn't that big of a deal until they followed it up with another item, the Shield Bubble Jr. Again, they shrunk it down, making it harder to use than before. And the worst part, it seems like the originals are never coming back. It's like how they transformed C4 into fish. You could catch cuttlefish, throw these onto boxes, or attach them to cars, and the damage was ridiculous. Yes! Yeah, they literally hurt people through walls. You can see why they were deleted instantly. A feature that was needed is also something nobody asked for, and yeah, you could have both. We're talking about storm sickness because let's be honest, it was necessary. People loved storm camping for unlimited wins, and this was the only solution. Some will say though that it did make the game a little less fun. I mean, who isn't entertained by people fishing for a whole match? It's a pretty hilarious strategy. One of the most hated updates was when Fortnite brought back a collab for Part 2. When Cause was first added, no one really paid attention to it, and players just thought it was a shoehorned ad. I guess it paid well because they decided to straight up do it again, this time infecting Peely with a new Cause design. Let's just say the response online, it was pretty funny. It was about as random as the time they threw Cabby LeMay into a battle pass. Obviously, as the biggest TikToker, it's not like we didn't know who he was, but fans are pretty shocked to see him take a battle pass slot. He's not exactly known for playing Fortnite, making this an obvious move to bring TikTok users to the game. Now, there was nothing wrong with the outfit itself. Fans were just disappointed that they were forced to use a spot in the battle pass for an influencer they didn't want, especially when they could have had an actual Fortnite creator or even a cool original outfit. And that brings me to one of the worst decisions Epic has ever made, getting rid of Impostors. This was genuinely up there as one of the most beloved LTMs of all time, and after Epic sorted out their problems with the Among Us devs, it felt like this could have stuck around for good. Fortnite never really updated the mode, so it wasn't like they had to abandon it. They could have quietly left it up and just moved on. But they punished players by deleting it from the files entirely. Those are 23 updates that got roasted. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.